Hey guys, today I want to explore a question that's been on my mind for a while. What role, if any, did Luggy actually play in the search for Jay Slater? This isn't about making accusations, but simply looking at the events, the inconsistencies, and the unanswered questions surrounding his involvement. Now, despite our differences, I was actually looking forward to the TikTok lives featuring Luggy. I assumed they would provide much needed insight. What exactly was his role in the search? How did he convince Chris to change his mind after originally saying there was no way Jay could have navigated the rough Masca terrain and that his phone must have been thrown? I missed the first live, but I caught wind of the second one and joined in, expecting a structured discussion. It was hosted by Electric Paramedic with moderators, so I assumed it would stay civil and on topic. The live was advertised as a space to ask questions, so I did just that. I asked Luggy, what data did you show Chris that made him change his mind? A completely reasonable question, right? It directly related to the search, something Luggy claims to have played a key role in. Now, you'd think I'd get an answer. Instead, it became a circus. I was demanded to join the live, something I had no interest in doing. When I declined, I was threatened with being muted if I asked any more questions. Yet, just days later, a well-known troll with multiple accounts was free to spam the chat without any moderation. So where's the consistency? This is one of the reasons Duncan and I have said we wouldn't participate in future lives unless they're handled fairly. There has to be a level playing field, where people are treated equally regardless of whether they're asking difficult questions. But let's get back to the real question. What was Luggy's actual role in the search? Honestly, I don't even think his reluctance to answer is about covering anything up. I suspect it's because his role was minimal, if he played any role at all. For example, Little Miss Vodka, a TikToker who was covering the case back in June, was already making videos about Jay's last known location. She pointed out how, if he had come off the road and slid down onto the dirt track, he might have tried to head toward the sea through the V-notch. She also questioned why the Guardia Civil and Down the Rapids weren't focusing on that area. She was talking about this publicly before Luggy was even in the conversation. Let's just play one of Little Miss Vodka's TikTok videos dated the 29th of June 2024.
Okay, so I was looking back on Jay Slater's last location that his phone pinged and the information that Brad gave in his interview. So I went onto the news articles because I wanted to see what areas they were searching. So the red pin in the middle is his last seen location, that he sent his location. However, these are 3 places that they're searching. I'm confused. So this is the screenshot of Jay Slater's location, okay, that Lucy uploaded when she was trying to look for him on the Tenerife Facebook page before he was actually missing. So obviously I've been able to match the roads up and pinpoint the location that he was last at. As you can see, the roads match. So this is his last location. So as you can see, he's on the dirt path. Now, before anyone says, yes, we know where his last location was, we've all seen the screenshots, we know where he was last seen. Right, but my question is, so obviously this is where he would have been on the phone to Brad, when he said, oh, I'm not walking down those long roads. Then he would have slipped down the terrain, this terrain here. This is where he probably would have been stood when he was on the phone. He said, I'm not walking down there. He ended up sliding down here. And then obviously he's ended up on the dirt bit where he would have last called Lucy, which is here. So remember in my other video I said that he was probably thinking, if you look here, it looks like if you follow that down, all you'd think in your head is just go down the mountain rather than up. So what I'm trying to say, wouldn't that mean he would follow the route down here? Because he would want to just get to the bottom of the mountain. After he slid down, he obviously went down there for a reason. So he's already told us he's not going to follow the road like Brad said. So wouldn't this be the route here that he would have took? Thinking that going down the mountains, he would end up closer to the main part where he's trying to get to. Or potentially going back to the apartment. So what I'm saying is he already said he's not going to follow the road. And he was already on the dirt track. I mean, he's already said that he's not following the road. So he personally, I think he looked towards where I've just showed you, where the mountain goes down, and he thought that was a good idea to follow it downwards rather than going up. So obviously here I've done a 3D Apple Maps 3D, and you can see just how rocky and the terrain is terrible. He could be anywhere here. I think they need to check. And even at the edge near the water, etc. Like, he really could have gone down this route. So obviously I've checked all these news articles for the locations that they're searching, and I haven't found any that I've looked at the long strip after the road, which I've just circled. So yeah, apologies if they've already checked where I've circled, but yeah, I thought I'd just, see if I can help in any way.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Another question that I wanted to ask was about the LiDAR maps Luggy said he used to help guide Chris. Now, I've actually looked into this. For those who don't know, LiDAR, light detection and ranging, is a remote sensing technology that uses laser pulses to create highly detailed 3D maps of the terrain. It's widely used in fields like archaeology, forestry, and, most relevant here, search and rescue. In search and rescue operations, LiDAR is typically used to map difficult or inaccessible terrain, especially in dense forests or mountainous areas. However, for LiDAR to be useful, it usually needs to be recent. Since landscapes change over time, LiDAR data is most effective when captured just before or during a search. High resolution, ideally gathered from drones flying at a low altitude, allowing for precision in identifying paths, obstacles, and potential points of interest. Now here's the issue. Publicly available LiDAR data in Spain is typically collected from satellites and can be years old. Satellite-based LiDAR lacks the resolution necessary for real-time search operations and wouldn't have provided enough detail to guide Chris. So this raises a major question. What LiDAR maps was Luggy referring to? Because from my research, the publicly accessible maps wouldn't have been useful in the way he claims. So Luggy, will you provide a link to the specific LiDAR maps you used? Or at least show us how you used them to guide Chris. If they were crucial in the search, surely he would have no problem demonstrating this. Now, let's talk about something else that struck me. Luggy's reaction when someone asked how long it would have taken Jay to reach the place where his body was found. This is a basic factual question. Answering it wouldn't incriminate anyone, nor would it reveal the exact location. Yet instead of answering, Luggy responded with something along the lines of, "Are we friends, EP? You're not just using me and then ditching me, right?" Now, why would someone react that way to a simple question? It makes me wonder, is his reluctance to answer about staying relevant? Because here's the thing. If Luggy openly answered questions about his role, he might have nothing left to contribute. And if his role in the search was minor, or even non-existent, what happens to his importance in the case? This brings me to another thought. Is Luggy's focus on himself actually a way to keep attention off others? We've seen this pattern before. Both Luggy and Chris have worked hard to keep themselves central to this case, portraying themselves as the protectors of the family. If they hadn't done this, they would have faded into obscurity, just like Adrian has. Instead, they've kept themselves in the spotlight, whether out of genuine concern or a desire to remain relevant. So here's the question. Is this about seeking attention, or is it a deliberate distraction? Because as long as Luggy remains the main character in this story, less focus is on others who were actually in Tenerife at the time Jay disappeared. Luggy repeatedly reminds us that he wasn't there. So if that's the case, there's no chance he's personally involved in anything criminal. But that raises another possibility. Is his role in all of this simply to absorb attention so it doesn't land on others? At the end of the day, these are just observations and speculations. But there are still questions that remain unanswered. If Luggy truly played a key role in the search, why can't he clarify it? If he really used LiDAR maps to help Chris, why can't he show them? And if he has nothing to hide, why is he so reluctant to answer even the most basic questions? At this point, it seems Luggy has no clear evidence to show this was 100% an accident, nor any proof that he played a role in the search at all. If so, Luggy, if you're listening, can you finally provide those answers? Or will we all just be waiting forever? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching.